Welcome to Chasing Fabulous, the show where we dive into the fun and exciting world of luxury, style, and sophistication. Join us as we explore what it really means to live a fabulous life, from amazing places to inspiring people and unforgettable experiences. Get ready to be hooked as we uncover the essence of fabulousness in every episode. Each adventure brings new stories and surprises, showing you how to add a touch of fabulous to your own life. Let's chase down the extraordinary together.
Hey everybody, welcome to Chasing Fabulous. It's Monica, Linda, and Joan.
Woo-hoo! Hello everyone.
Yay. We have Joan today. We're very excited because today we're going to talk about something really special. Something that we love a lot, and you're going to be surprised to hear it, I think. I think so.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Joan is here with us because we're going to do some fun things today. But we have Joan on for the first segment because we did a lot of stuff with Joan this week.
Yes, we did.
Oh wait, I completely forgot. What show is it?
It is episode 14. All right, season 2, episode 14, and what number?
52.
Yeah.
Wow. High five it.
Bravo.
High five it.
Thank
Bravo.
you.
I just can't. It's just shocking to me.
Oh, yeah.
So what did we do last week? So last week we had a lot of stuff going on last week. We had Domenico's luau.
Well, Saturday first, what did we do? Wait.
No, first we went to Barry Manilow again
Right.
with Joan and Alessandra. Thank you, Alessandra,
When was
because
that?
we
A
love
Thursday? Last Thursday? When did we
her.
go?
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
know.
last
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thank
And
you,
then
Joan.
Saturday was Bianca. Bianca turned 11.
Wow.
Bianca's Monica's granddaughter, for those of you tuning in for the
Yes,
first time.
the first time. And then we went to Domenico's luau.
Right, but we talk about what I did, too. I did something.
No, we're not going to talk about that. I thought we did about the whole, I thought we talked, what did you do?
Well, Saturday I saw my brother. I took
Oh.
him out to dinner. We went to Zumi.
Oh, right, you went to Izumi.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
Nice.
It's a
Yeah,
nice
I've heard
place.
about that.
And we had hibachi and teriyaki stuff.
Oh, yes.
And we hung out and we
I like
watched a lot
Izumi.
of funny shows and laughed. Because laughter's the best.
Best.
Laughter's
Especially
absolutely the
with
best,
family.
right?
Yes.
Don't we love to laugh?
I love
We're very
laughing.
silly.
I
We're very
love
silly.
laughing.
And then Sunday, didn't we do something? Oh, Sunday I went to Aunt France for Palm Sunday.
Yes.
Did you do anything for Palm Sunday?
My brother Dan turned 70.
That's right.
Oh, yes,
So
I
we
saw the
had,
pictures
we
of
had
that.
a
I saw
big birthday
pictures of
party
that.
for him, and it was lovely. We all
How
got together.
funny was Kelly, though, wishing you a happy birthday?
She's like, wow, you look fabulous for 70.
And I was laughing.
Yes, I was laughing so hard.
I was laughing. Poor Kelly.
Kelly, we love
she
you.
means well.
She does
We
mean
love you,
well.
Kelly.
She heard it in a dream.
And,
She's so cute.
you know, and this week, I read a book on anti-gravity, but it was really hard to put down.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay,
Oh,
I had to do that. I had to do it because it's really funny.
I told the plumber I had a leak, but he just thought I was spouting off.
Oh my God. All right, let's do the holidays.
Let's do that.
Okay, what's the holidays for today? Today, this one's for you, Kim Jackson. When Kim Jackson and Todd moved into their house down in Georgia,
Yes.
the whole bottom floor was covered with bats and bat
Oh, God, no.
poop. So this is for you, Kim. It's Bat Appreciation Day today.
No, I don't think I'll be
no,
celebrating
thank you.
that. No.
No.
Guess
No,
what
no,
else
no,
it
no,
is?
no, no. What else
You're
is
gonna
it?
like this one.
What?
Today is Blah 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 Day. That's kind of
So we're
appropriate.
blah, 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 blah.
You know what I always say? That's what I think when I talk. That's what people hear. They hear like when the Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah, she was the wah, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
that's kind of what people hear. Today is Ford Mustang Day.
I love Mustang. I always wanted
Yes.
a Mustang convertible.
Yes.
That was my car, not a BMW, not a Mercedes. I wanted a Mustang convertible.
Really?
Yeah,
so
I
did
don't
my
know why.
aunt wanted that too.
I don't know why. I just loved. I think
I know,
it's the
people
cutest
loved
car.
the-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool car.
Yeah.
Today is International Pizza Cake Day.
Pizza cake.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what
I don't know what that is either. But here comes the food.
Yeah, because we have to. It's Malbec World Day. You guys like Malbec?
Yes, I like a good
Malbec?
Malbec.
We used to like a good Malbec.
Yeah.
It's
From
red,
Spain
though.
or Argentina.
I
Yeah,
probably
those are
should
good
try
wines.
it. I don't think I've ever
A
had it. but I
dry
know
It's
it's
very
good.
deep. It has a very deep,
Yeah, my husband likes
like
it.
Yes.
almost like a Spanish Rioja.
Okay. Ooh, listen to her.
Spanish Rioja.
Listen
Well,
to her.
listen, I drank a lot, so I get it. I know what all the stuff is. National Cheese Ball Day.
Cheese ball.
Big in Wisconsin.
I love cheese balls.
Oh God.
I never made you. I'm gonna have to make you a cheese ball because it's pretty good. Today is National Haiku Poetry Day.
Haiku
Did you ever
poetry.
remember we had to make a haiku?
Wow. Yeah, that
Do you know
goes-
what, would you
takes
like
me
to know
back.
what the most famous haiku is?
What?
I'm going to read it to you.
Yes.
It's called The Old Pond.
The old pond?
The Old Pond. It goes, an old silent pond.
Okay.
A frog jumps in. Splash. Silence again. Isn't it just,
Deep.
isn't that just
I was
deep
just
and
gonna
wonderful?
say, that's the word that came to mind. How deep we're getting.
Deep.
I have no idea what that means.
like
What
and I'm
makes
really
that
not going to give
so
it my
special?
I don't know. It's,
that
it was the
kind of
first one
Concise.
by
there's a word, yeah.
Matsuo Basho. It's known for its simple yet profound reflection
Okay,
on
yeah.
nature and momentary events.
Okay.
I like
That's a
it.
lot of words
Yeah.
right
I
there.
like it.
No, it's.
And guess what it is? National High Five Day!
Yay! High five, Joe.
High five.
I should have said that before. National Kickball Day.
Okay.
Kickball. Remember that? We did that a lot in gym.
Yeah.
Nothing like a Dame Day.
That's
There's
right, man,
nothing
not
like a
Dame
Day.
That's got to be from some musical,
South
right?
Pacific.
There you go.
Yes. Yes.
I knew it. I knew it.
So that was pretty good.
Yes, very
Yeah.
good. I like
Now, so I did, there's always a
that.
little
Are you
video.
sad there was no scurvy or anything in that?
No, but I can make it
No,
scurvy
yeah,
day.
no, never mind. I shouldn't have brought it up.
I know.
She likes weird holidays like that where we're celebrating diseases and stuff.
Scurvy day is awesome.
Look at you see what I
So listen, I made a video because there's always a little video, but I made a
Oh.
little video about our week this week. So let's
nice.
watch.
Oh, yeah, the things we
I should have
did.
showed it before. Forget
Yes,
it. Let's watch it.
retrospective. Let's see.
Yes, it is a retrospective.
This is what we
like
did.
It's a retrospective of our week.
Right.
We're back. Oh my gosh, that was
Lovely.
so much fun. That was so much
Was.
fun. So we went to see Barry Manilow again, thanks to Joan and
Yes,
Alessandra,
Alessandra.
and we had so much fun.
Oh my God.
And I'm so happy we went. The
Me too.
Second
Me
time.
too.
And then we went to
yeah.
eat at Rosie O'Grady's, which we went to see.
Fantastic.
Great
And
food.
I introduced them to Rosie O'Grady's, which is where we went to eat after I sang at Radio City. I've been there a couple times now. It's
great.
But it's
really
fantastic.
good.
It's great. It's literally right beside Radio City.
Yeah.
It's not even a block away.
No.
And it's the perfect place. You can always get in for a reservation. It was not that expensive.
No.
And
The food was fabulous.
Yes.
The
I-
drink was fabulous. The
yes.
Cosmopolitan was fabulous.
yes.
Fabulous.
yes, and then I had that crab mac and cheese was to die. All of our food was really
Oh,
good.
it was
That's why
amazing.
we had
Really
the
good.
pieces of the
Amazing.
food in it.
Yeah, it was
It
really
was so good.
Yeah.
I had a picture
Yeah.
of the creme brulee, but I forgot to give it to her.
Remember, she never had creme brulee.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yes, you
She
didn't have
cracked
creme
it.
brulee.
She hit the top and cracked
Yeah.
it.
Oh, and I had a picture that I have to show you after the show at Domenico's. I had a coconut.
Oh, I saw
Yes.
it. I saw it.
Yeah.
Somebody put it on
It had a
Facebook.
did.
ponytail.
It was so cute.
It was cute. It was very sweet, I have to say, and I told Monica this. The one we had in North
One we shared,
Tres
we
Palms.
stung.
Oh, like 2 high school. Here, take a sip. Take a sip. Take a sip.
That's when we found Waldo.
That one was better.
we showed pictures of that. We showed pictures of
That
Waldo.
was
Yeah,
a
we
fun
did.
day.
We
That was a
actually
fun
pulled.
day.
We actually called him out.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Travis Masterson. Is
said
his
his
name Trey
name.
Masterson? Travis Masterson. His last name was Masterson. I remember that.
Yeah, I think Trey.
Trey.
I'm
Was
gonna
it
have to
Trey?
look him up.
Yeah, I think so.
and see.
He was from Canada, right?
He's quite the
Yes.
character. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So today, people, we are talking about men.
Yes.
Because we love men.
we do.
We do.
We really do.
We do.
And we think that men get the raw end of the stick a lot of times. So we really do sympathize with you. And we think that we talk a lot about women, and I always want to try to bring men into the show. We tell a lot of dad jokes. We do a lot of that because I kind of feel like I'm kind of a guy anyway. I think more like a guy than I do a woman. I always have my whole life. I enjoy being that way. I'm not as nurturing or caring as other women, maybe.
Okay.
So anyway, Ernie did the fun facts. So
Okay.
here we go. I'm on a horse. That is my favorite commercial ever, the Old Spice commercials. If you have not, we showed that on
Yes, we
on
did.
the commercial show we did a couple weeks ago.
When we did the
that.
old commercials.
The old
yes,
commercials.
yes.
We did the old commercials,
And
yeah.
Women loved this man. Yes.
And then we have the most interesting man in the world.
Oh, Dos
yes.
Was an
Equis.
advertising campaign for Dos Equis.
Yes.
And his name is Jonathan Goldsmith. I did not
I
know
didn't know
that.
his
know that
name.
either.
Yes. Bearded debonair or gentleman with voiceovers. And then the campaign ended in 2018.
Marlboro Man.
That's the
Everybody
Marlboro Man.
loved the
There was
Marlboro
5
Man.
Marlboro Men.
What?
Yeah.
Wayne McLaren, David McLean, Dick Hammer, Eric Lawson, and Jerome Edward Jackson all died of smoking-related diseases.
I was just going to
Thus
say.
earning Marlboro cigarettes, specifically Marlboro Reds, the nickname Cowboy Killers.
God. Wow. Cowboy Killers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our favorite man, George Washington. And George was a general, a founding father, and the first president of the United States.
Yep.
Enough said. But
Yes.
there isn't enough said because we had a discussion about George Washington before we came on the show, and we want to talk about that. Let's go. We're going to go to a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back and we're going to hear Joan talk about that story about George Washington because it's fascinating.
Welcome to Paradise Content Creation Studios, where your creativity finds its perfect home. Imagine a space where innovation meets inspiration at every corner. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed to transform your ideas into extraordinary realities. Whether you're crafting cinematic masterpieces or viral content, we have it all covered. Join a community of creators who dare to dream and push the boundaries of possibility. With cutting-edge technology and a passionate team, your projects are destined for greatness. Step into a realm where every detail is meticulously crafted for your success. At Paradise Content Creation Studios, unleash the power of your imagination and watch it soar.
In the heart of Bowling Green, Ohio lies a treasure trove of wonders, a place where the joy of giving comes to life. Welcome to Poppy Lane Gifts and Decor, your ultimate destination for gifts that speak from a heart. Nestled in the heart of our community, Poppy Lane is more than just a store. It's a treasure trove of beauty and inspiration, carefully curated to bring joy and charm into your life and home. From the perfect piece to complete your cozy nook, to the ideal gift that says, "I thought of you," every item in our collection tells a story. A story of craftsmanship, love, and a touch of magic. And because we believe in supporting local talent, Poppy Lane proudly features exclusive pieces from the area's finest artisans. When you shop with us, you're not just buying a gift, you're investing in the community, nurturing creativity, and celebrating local craftsmanship. So, whether you're celebrating a milestone, searching for that perfect piece to add to your collection, or simply treating yourself just because, Poppy Lane Gifts and Decor is your destination for the extraordinary. Visit us in the Woodland Mall on Main Street or shop online at poppylanegiftsandDecor.com. Poppy Lane Gifts and Decor, where every gift begins with a story.
Okay, we're back. So today we're talking about men.
Yes, we are.
And we have a story about George Washington, but I want to talk about why we're talking about men today. Like, I read this thing, and it says women don't want to need men; we want men. We want to have them in our lives because we truly enjoy them as people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And choose to let them be with us as opposed to being stuck with them. So I think a lot of times we have, I don't think, and we can't really say that about us personally because we really have great husbands. Like Ernie is insanely supportive. We've talked about this. Lou's pretty supportive. He's pretty supportive. We love Lou though. Lou is Joan's husband. And Mark is awesome too. So we're lucky. We also know a lot of women that don't have supportive husbands that are fighting against that, right? And then I think that now a lot of times people think that women, we don't need the men, right? And I think men sometimes don't feel like they're needed, and that's important to them.
Well,
so
as time has gone on, because everything evolves,
True.
you know, I mean, women wanted to have, you know, get back into the workplace and everything, and it was almost like men felt like, well, I'm the breadwinner. What's going on
Right.
here?
The
you know,
role-
like
the roles were shifting.
shifting.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's like, what am I, chopped liver?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
sometimes, and I think a lot of times, I'm sure you both agree, once the kids come into the picture, the men feels neglected.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
all about the
because
children.
It becomes about the children. But if we'll get into this probably, but if the men
Okay.
take on a bigger nurturing role,
Agree.
they won't feel that way, right?
Which I
Right.
would say men do now. Our fathers
are.
didn't show up at events for us
Yes.
as young girls
Right.
because
Yes.
that wasn't the norm. The fathers went to the sons' baseball games
Right.
and the
Yeah.
football games. You know, they didn't come to the dance rehearsals. Maybe
Right.
the recital, but not the rehearsals.
No.
Right.
But now I see that all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
See it all the
like
time.
the cheer competitions,
cheer
those guys
comps.
are with,
Oh,
they've got
yeah.
the cheer. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I love that so
too.
much.
Me too.
And now they're having the little daddy and daughter little teas at school
and
stuff, and
dances.
dances. I think that's great.
It
So
is great.
There has been a little bit of a change, at least,
Right.
you know, because years ago that was unheard of. You know,
I like this one, and you know, Cher, if you like Cher or not. I like this one. She said that
yeah.
men are like dessert. She loves them and thinks they're great. They're just not necessary for life. Chocolate cake is awesome and can make life fun, but you still survive. You'll still survive and lead a good life if all the chocolate cake ceases to exist tomorrow. It's not an insult against the quality of the chocolate cake. It's just a statement of fact. The same with men and same with women. Men really don't need women either. And it's just an honor to be wanted instead of needed. And I really love that. I like that a lot. And that was kind of the
Cher getting
theme.
deep.
Well, I liked that. I think that we
The
feel
Dalai
that
Lama
way.
share.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that's why she
Sorry,
switched
little
partners
Cher.
so many times, because she wanted a different dessert.
Listen. Right.
Right. And I love it because it says it means that you're there because that person truly wants you there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Not that
Absolutely.
not that you need,
Absolutely.
and vice versa.
Yes.
Like I don't want Ernie there just because he has money.
For the sake, or for
And
just
I don't
for
happen
the,
to have
right.
any right at the
Right.
second, but you're more than welcome to send it on. But I like that we, and that's what we're trying, our point is trying to be today, is that we want men to know that we appreciate them
Right.
for who they are.
Yes.
Right, and what they have to offer as not just a man, as a human being, you know, as a companion, as a person in
Right.
your life. I would rather be alone for the right reasons than stay with someone for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Right.
Just for the
Yeah.
sake of having that body next to you, you know? There's so much to, you know,
Right.
to appreciate about a man.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I love having doors open for me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I love having Ernie pay for dinner.
Right.
I love that.
My husband still opens the car door for me when I
Every
go
time.
in.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, he has that quality in him that I love, and I thank him every time. I'm like, thank you, and he still thanks me when I make him dinner. Thank you. Thank
That's
you for
lovely,
making
too.
that.
That's
for
Yes,
me.
Ernie does that too.
And
Ernie
I
thanks me for
love
cleaning
that.
the kitchen,
I
and
love
because that was a big.
and it's reciprocal. Like he loves to vacuum. I thank him for vacuuming.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's like, why not? You know, but I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Like we don't just have them there because you know they're our husbands
Right.
and like you know whatever.
But you know, it's
Right.
kind of our job too, and this is what Joan and if you don't know this about Joan was a history teacher for 30 years.
Yes.
39.
39 years. And she also
years.
you also
Wow.
taught a lot about sociology too.
Sociology, women's studies, gender studies. Yeah.
Which I
Yes.
didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't know
So,
that.
and one of the reasons we wanted to have this conversation today was to talk to her too and find out, like, you did a whole class about how people teach young men how, like, we're forming them when they're young.
Their roles, what's
Their
expected
roles,
of them.
yes.
Expected
Right.
of
Yes.
them.
From
Okay.
childhood forward. Right.
Yes,
And
exactly.
sometimes we don't realize we're doing it. It's
Right.
social norms and societal ways and mores that dictate what you give little boys to play with. And
Yeah,
that's
so, like,
where
what
it
are
begins.
some of those things? What was
Yeah,
the top
tell
one
us.
that you,
So,
I printed it
share,
out.
okay,
share.
so there's top 5. I hope
Okay.
I get these all right.
Wait, I printed it if you need it.
We always give them things to build with, right?
Okay,
So
yes.
Legos back in the day was Lincoln Logs. Do you remember
Yes,
Lincoln
oh my
Logs?
God, yes.
And Legos.
I loved
and
Lincoln
and you're
Logs, though.
you're creating a next level thinker when you're giving young boys those types of toys,
Right.
because then they are naturally groomed towards architecture, right, and engineering, which is fantastic, right? Then we give them sports equipment because we expect them to get their yayas out by running around and doing sports
Yes.
things. And
A
then
lot of
some
energy,
dads
yep.
want them to emulate whatever their careers were.
Right.
Then we give them toy trucks, right?
Yes.
Because
And trains.
and trains, which are fascinating for them, and the motion and the movement. But again, next level, going over terrain and things like that. Terrific. And then we give them things like weapons.
Oh God.
So I know my brothers had BB guns when they were small. And how do I know? Because they shot at me. Yes, I'm saying it. And
Thanks, guys.
thank you guys for allowing me to be a better tap dancer. So
That's a good one.
So that's where it began.
that's where it came from.
Yes.
Quickest feet in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So I
love it.
And we give them weapons. And if you think back to the day,
Yeah.
like Davy Crockett and the Lone Ranger and Zorro, those were their figures. But these were men that knew how to use weapons. And then the last is action figures. So
Right.
you go from G.I. Joe to maybe Power Rangers and
Rangers.
a little bit more modern
Army
sense.
Men.
Army Men, what they
Yes.
line them up.
Yep.
And so what are you teaching young boys to do? You're teaching them to be aggressive
Aggressive.
because we
I was
want them
just
to be
gonna say
aggressive.
that, yeah.
We want them to be natural leaders. We want them to think skill sets, right? But we also want them to be physically active.
Right.
So you've pigeonholed what boys should do. What do we give little girls? What are the top 5 toys that little girls get?
Dolls.
So dolls,
Barbies.
which is teaching nurturing skills, which we want our girls to become wonderful mothers.
Feed the baby.
Feed the baby, change the baby. The baby's
Right,
used to wet. The
right.
baby's used to cry. Right?
Right.
Okay. Nurturing skills. We could debate Barbie all
Yeah,
day, whether
yeah.
that was good or bad. But
Yeah.
okay, we went through it. We
loved
did the
my
Barbie thing.
Barbies.
I loved my
I
Barbie.
loved-
Did too. I loved my Barbies. We give girls creative things like crayons and pencil sets and watercolor. And that
Yes.
keeps them busy for a long time.
Yeah.
I like that we give girls books. That's terrific. So that expands their mind. But then we also give them kitchens
Yeah.
sets and cleaning appliances.
Right,
I would
yes.
stare at that Easy Bake Oven light bulb. It was a light bulb.
That's a light bulb.
That was cooking whatever little pancake was going to come out of that for hours.
We
Yes.
loved that too, though.
And then the last is we give them dress up.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, the little hooker clear plastic
Yes.
heels that you can't really walk in.
The little ones, I forgot about those. They were all
they're
those were so
tripping.
good. They always had glitter on them, and they were always like jelly shoes.
But we're teaching them that they should look like a princess, and of
Yeah.
course we give them makeup. And who saves the princess? Princess is always the guy on the white horse,
Yeah.
which might be the
Yes,
Old Spice.
that could be.
man.
I'm on
Old
horse.
Spice
The Old
man.
Spice guy
Right?
saves the girls.
And I don't want to say George was on a white horse too, George Washington, right?
was.
But
That's true.
That's,
He was.
yeah, that's the concept that
Yeah.
you're going to be saved,
Right.
right? Not that you can stand on your own. So I think the only thing with the differences between the way we do with the boys and the girls that I like is that in our age now with your grandchildren, it's easier for the girls to transfer over to the boy toys.
Yeah.
We like that girls want to build things. We like
Yes.
that girls want to play sports.
Yes.
Clearly,
Yes.
the WNBA draft was on the other night, and
Right.
terrific that these girls are getting paid salaries
Right.
for the first time. And we like that the girls are looking towards action figures. But notice when the boys try to go over to the dolls, we some of us tend to be very standoffish with that, but
Yeah.
why are we not teaching boys how to nurture? Why don't we teach
Right.
them how to become good fathers?
Right.
Because
Right.
somehow that's taboo and it shouldn't be.
Right.
Right.
Right, because it's like, oh, you have a doll, you're going to be gay. That's
or,
what it
or
is.
it's too sensitive, and we don't want to see you cry when so-and-so knocks you down to the ground because you're not
Right.
being aggressive.
Yeah.
So
Right.
all those messages are kind of
How do you think we
relayed.
change that? Well, then how do we change that? Do we like Bianca was 11. She never had any doll. Like she did not want dolls. But then I say that facetiously because I got her horses when she was right when she was born because I love horses. So I'm like, she's gonna like horses.
Right.
And honestly, I swear that we all do it as grandparents and parents. We're like, let's just get them what we want them to have.
Right.
So she had that. She had rocks. She had trains. She had all of that. And now she's in karate with her weapons class, and Aria had dolls. It was more of dolls and those kind of things. So she is in cheer and she's girly girl. So it just completely does that. When my Barbies became horse fanatics because I built them like the horse trailer out of like shoe boxes and stuff. Like my Barbies became guys.
Western Barbies.
They were.
But listen, I think it's fabulous that you give your granddaughter the toys that you held so close to your heart because then you can share that with her.
Yes.
And you can love to play with her. And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Versus you should have these dolls and you should
Right.
want the color
Right.
pink
Yes.
on everything. Like people say now they go to baby showers and everything's beige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more pink and blue. Everything's
Right.
beige
Yeah, I
or
know.
muted
Which-
green.
that's kinda gross, too.
And I'm not saying that that's the solution. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that children should play with the toys that they naturally are curious about
Right.
and
Well,
gravitate towards.
yes.
Right?
I only had a son, but I might be honest with you. I bought him. He had the big kitchen. We had the kitchen.
That's awesome.
He played in the kitchen. He did all the boys.
He was a chef.
He did that.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
a house. I had a house with people, with the car and everything.
Yeah.
But he also had the Legos. He didn't have any little soldiers or anything. He wasn't into Power Rangers, but he played every sport there was. But he had the kitchen, and
That's
my nephew
fantastic.
would come over and they'd play in the kitchen.
Right.
You know, so what's wrong with that? To me,
Nothing.
that I thought was like
Balanced.
Why not?
It's
Yeah.
balanced.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, I said
mean-
this to Monica on the phone. When you think about the world's greatest chefs, they're all men.
Yeah,
They're men.
And when you think
right.
of the top designers, they're men.
Yes.
Exactly.
So somewhere that
Yes.
creativity was tapped into, right? And
Yeah.
and their parents said it's okay.
Yeah.
So it's all balance.
Yes.
Right?
And I think
it
what
is.
our message is trying is that just let them explore.
Right.
Like don't hold that stuff back. I love the idea of getting the boys kitchens. I mean, my
do
job
too.
as
Love that
Meemaw was to
kitchen.
get them, like I gave the girls the kitchen, and then now the twins and Valentina have the best kitchen. They even have a Target checkout. They have a Target checkout
Wow.
lane. Thank you,
Fine.
Meemaw.
Why not?
And
Why
but
not?
I love that, and they have an espresso machine. Like I do
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. But I love the whole role play thing for kids.
Agreed.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you are so right. I mean, I just don't happen to have any boy grandchildren.
Right.
But if I did, I would be on board with that. With giving, why can't they have
They
the
loved it.
hairdresser doll? I love that head, that doll head, the doll
that
head.
one, the hairdresser
You know what I'm
doll,
talking
yes.
about?
You put the makeup
hairdresser
on
doll.
That I
and the
didn't
curl.
buy him. That
Yeah.
I didn't buy him.
Yeah, you didn't get
But I
that
got
from-
into all the boys. I was having a ball with the boys
Right,
stuff.
because you didn't have it as a child.
I didn't have that.
Right,
You know,
right.
the cars, the race cars and everything, and the
Yes,
trucks.
yes.
I got into that. But I mean, at the same time, like they said, what's wrong with him
Yeah.
playing in a kitchen?
Nothing.
You know?
Right. And then
Nothing.
me growing up, we had tractors. So my
Oh,
brother,
right.
Brent, I'm telling on you, Brent had the tractors, and you couldn't walk into his room because he actually put the corn and beans in little rows from the tractor. He made the tractor, the planter,
Did
and then
he?
God forbid if you walked in that room and you messed up one of his rows. Now I'm just saying to you, Brent, you did know that the plants weren't going to grow. I think he knew that. But we kind of talked about that last week about how we did that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're going to go to a quick commercial and then we're coming back because I want to still hear that story about George Washington.
Okay.
Ever Ever felt stuck with a home that just doesn't feel right anymore? Whether it's that outdated kitchen or the bathroom that needs a refreshed look, Twice as Nice Construction has got you covered. Family owned for over 20 years. Twice as Nice Construction has been providing beautiful new construction and additions and stunning remodels like kitchens and bathrooms. We're not just experts, we offer unbeatable quality and prices to help make your dream come true. Ready to start building your dream home or to give your kitchen and bathroom that much needed makeover? Contact Twice as Nice today and make your dream a reality. Visit twiceasniceremodel.com today for quality you can see and service you can trust. Twice the value, twice the commitment, Twice as Nice.
We're back.
Hi.
Today we're talking about how fabulous men are, because we do love men and we think they're funny, and I love them and I love everything to do with them, about them. But I found this video, and it's about how men and women think differently. It's just a couple minutes. I don't want you guys to see this because it's it's funny, it's good, and it's so true. So I think you guys will enjoy this video.
We're going to start discussing men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right? Now, men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box, all right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. And it's like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. And it's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that and watched their brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing.
I thought that was such a great. We're back. I loved that video. I thought that was so good. I'm just telling you right now, I think I have a nothing box in my brain.
Do you?
Yeah. My brain works, like when I was listening to this, my brain works more like a man's brain than a woman's brain. Yeah. That's just my, like it said, you know, men talk about one thing at a time. And that's where we go wrong, is because we want them to talk about, well, we're going to talk about this, but then, well, what about the time you didn't give me something for my birthday 10 years ago? Like, you have to be careful with that. Men are very straightforward.
Yeah.
They're like, here, this is what it is. You know, I happen to be married to an electrical engineer, which is really hard because I am a creative and I am you know, we're all kind of like that, right? Mm-hmm. Mark is a
software developer.
Lou is a contractor.
Right.
And they have different brains than we do.
Yes, definitely.
And then remember when we were young, we would wake up in the middle of the night and go, "Oh, we just want to talk." And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm going to murder you."
Yeah.
Like I'm lucky
they're
we're
not
even
talkers.
murdered.
They don't like to do that.
Especially in the middle of the night. Like you can't fix everything in the middle of the night.
Basically, a lot of times my husband don't want to talk.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh God, what do you want to?" If I ever say, "I want to talk to you about something," oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Ernie just says, "How much money do you need?" That's what he says. How much you want now?
Say?
Well, because I'm a talker from my job, he's used to it. He's like, the long and short of it. Give me the short version.
Yeah.
There's always an example. There's an objective. There's a homework assignment.
Right. There's like, can we just take notes? Can you take notes?
Yeah.
But I mean, I will have a whole
Can't help
heartfelt
it.
conversation with Ernie. I'm like, oh my gosh, or I'm upset about something, and then he just sits there. I'm like, do you have anything to say?
I hate to pigeonhole them, but a lot, God forgive me, but a lot of men aren't big communicators. Like they're not.
No, that's true.
They don't like to sit down and get to the heart
That's
of things,
true.
unless they choose that profession where they want to be in that, you know, where they're psychologists, psychiatrists. They're fixers, but they don't like to go into depth.
No.
Like they have a solution. Here's your solution.
Right. That's exactly right.
And
So if we say, oh, I'm a little bit upset, what are you upset about?
Right.
Oh, somebody said something to me. What is their address? I'm going to murder them for you. That is what they do. That is what, like, give me.
So going back to what you were saying before.
Because we gave them toys to be violent with. Girls will bake you something, talk to you about it. It goes back to that.
Right.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It does. I mean, it really does. But I loved that guy and what he said about how our brains work differently, because I thought that was a very good analogy of the boxes.
I think that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was
and I think we can agree as women.
Yeah.
But it also, my other takeaway was that's why we're so good at multitasking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which men tend to have difficulties with.
Yeah.
We juggle a lot of different things.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Wear a lot of hats.
We wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Right. And we're not always nice about it with guys. We want to always try to fit them into what we would do. And it just doesn't work like that. One of the most valuable things I ever learned in my life was, if you ask a guy to do something, you know how they never do it when you want them to do it?
Right.
So you have to say, listen, I need you to replace the ceiling in the living room, Ernie.
Ernie.
And then he'll be, okay, it's never going to get done. You have to say, when do you think you're going to be able to have it done?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So then, I'm going to have it done by, give me a date.
Right.
So I'm going to have it done by April 30th. Okay. Do not say anything until April 30th. Keep your mouth shut. Okay. You cannot say, I want this to be done. I don't want this to, you can't do it now. Like, it's not, I don't think it's fair to expect somebody to drop everything they're doing because you want them to take out the trash at that very second. You know, say, listen, by 5 o'clock, can you take out the trash? So if you have boys, it's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Because then we're not forcing our time frame on them. And listen, I'm not saying I don't do it, because I do it all the time.
I think we all do it.
We all do
We
it.
all
Yeah.
do it.
We all do it.
But it's hard for us to give them their own space to be
Yeah.
able to do,
Yeah.
right?
Agree. Parameters are good for everyone, though.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right,
Structure
exactly.
and you know, boundaries are good for
Right.
everyone,
Oh, yeah.
men
Right.
and women.
Right.
Well, we talked about George Washington before,
Yes.
before when we
Yes.
first started, and I still want to hear that story about George
Yes,
Washington.
because
So-
he is one of the greatest men
Yes,
in history.
and there was a huge amount.
First
Listen,
president.
our country was founded by men. That's okay.
That's okay. Our
Yeah.
founding fathers. What's
Founding
wong
fathers.
with that?
No,
It's history. You
fantastic.
can't change history.
No,
It's a
history is
wonderful
learning
thing.
experience,
So-
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what? Let's talk a little about him.
Yeah, I
since
wanna
he
hear-
was our first president.
So Bobby is a big fan of George Washington, and
Producer,
I am.
yes. Yeah, we all
And,
Big
are.
fan.
Big fan.
You know, bar none. Very hard to compare him to anyone because he was the first.
Yes.
But his fiber comes from the fact that he was raised in Virginia, right? He's an American born, and was very tall, striking for that time period when he lived.
How tall was he?
He was
now?
6'2",
6'2".
which was very tall for that time period.
Can't believe
And Linda
that.
and I both went, wait, we thought he was short and fat.
There's a lot of people
George
back then
Washington?
were short.
Yes.
I don't,
yes.
it's just, I think it's just like, I think about Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, they were all short and fat with
That's
no
what
hair.
I thought.
But that's just not true.
I had no idea he was such.
You're a wealth of
tall
information.
man.
Yes, a wealth of information.
Yes, I love it. I
And,
love it.
and his fiber was to be a good soldier in Virginia because his parents owned land. And he really represented the British in the beginning because he was in a colony that was governed by the British.
Right.
But his bravery was shown on the battlefields at a location called Fort Necessity, which would be just outside of Pittsburgh in the Duquesne area. And his journal entries as a young soldier was to describe the rush of excitement he felt as bullets grazed his coat and went through him and tore through his pockets. And he's an imposing man on a horse and fighting in the style of the Europeans, which was unheard of here in the colonies. And instead of cowering away from it, he wrote in his journals that the excitement he felt as a young man was something that encouraged him to go into positions of leadership. So when it came time to pick the commander-in-chief of the armed forces for the Continental Army in the American Revolution, hands down, George Washington was considered the greatest leader and someone that men would follow because there wasn't certain pay that was going to come your way. So
Right.
following him was taking a great leap of faith. We had all of the odds stacked against us to beat the greatest army and / navy in the world with the British. We didn't have the firepower. Thanks to the French, we got some of it,
Right.
but it often arrived late. And you had these men who felt that if they joined the rebel armies of George Washington, what would happen when we lost? And then the Europeans, the British, would come back and control them, and they would be looked upon as traitors.
Yeah.
So his embodiment of leadership and pride and loyalty, and never took a dollar for
Wow.
any of his years of service.
That's
Never,
amazing.
never took a dollar for any of his years of service.
Wow.
Is the measure by which a president should be
Oh, absolutely.
molded.
And you said he won unequivocally. He wasn't.
He won unanimously. He was voted unanimously to become the president of the United States. And interestingly enough, chose John Adams to be his vice president, who is from Boston. And that would be so foreign because a Virginian and someone in New England would have very limited things in common. But he picked Thomas Jefferson to be his Secretary of State because he also was a Virginian and very, very astute and very learned. So you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, right?
Exactly.
So creating the first cabinet was instrumental in this country
Right.
surviving.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did all of that.
Right.
Wow, now there's
Right.
there's
So
someone that
there's a
young,
measure, there's a standard right
Yeah,
there to
that's
look up
who
to
young
for a lot of
people,
reasons.
young men
Yes.
today should really
Yes.
read more
Like
about.
they shouldn't be embarrassed. Like, listen, granted, the world was different then.
Of course.
There was slavery. Women didn't have power. Like, we get it. We understand that. But
Right.
that's why we learned. We do better. Listen, if you know better, you do better, correct?
Amen.
That's the key word right there.
Amen.
If you know better, you do better.
Right.
Right.
So that's what happened all this time. That's why I was upset whenever they started taking statues down and stuff, because I'm like, if you start erasing history,
But you can't. You can't.
if you start erasing
Yeah.
the history, you're going to do it again.
Right.
That's what's it's very scary to me. Is that scary to you?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not a
I
fan
live
of
by
that.
the thing, what's done can't be undone. I mean, you couldn't erase history. Taking down statues does not erase our history.
Right.
Doesn't
I mean,
change that.
these men existed and we are the way we are today because of them. You know?
Right.
I mean, we live in a
Right.
wonderful country.
Right.
They
And
were remarkable men. You know, I didn't pay attention
You have
enough.
to measure the
and I'm gonna
man
go
by
back
the
and read
time
about
in
'em.
which he lived.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
measure the man or woman
Yes.
by the time in which they lived. Are we now going to chisel out Washington and Jefferson's faces from Mount Rushmore because they were slave owners?
Yeah.
Right, because you can start doing that kind of
Right.
revisionist.
Right.
And that's what I
history.
felt like was happening the last few years, and I don't like that. I think that, listen, Andrew Jackson, he had slaves, he had kids by the. Everybody, listen, it all happens. People are, it happens today.
It's still in the world today. There's
Right.
slaves in the world. It wasn't just here.
Right.
We're not
It still
saying we're not
exists.
saying hero worship. We're not saying
No,
keep the statues
absolutely
to
not.
emulate some of the bad practices that existed.
Right.
We're not saying
that's-
that, but the
no,
man
right.
and the measure of the time in which he lived must be
Right.
considered. And
Absolutely
learn your
right.
history before you quickly
Right.
make
Yes.
a judgment
Right.
that doesn't apply to 21st century kind of semantics. And
That makes
living.
me crazy when you see the videos of these kids oh my God, and kids do not know, Joan, they don't know.
I
There's a
know.
lot of people on there that do the man on the street, and they're like, well, what is,
they
Yeah, they
don't
don't.
know.
There's
Who
so much
what-
they
don't
don't
what,
know.
what is 4th of July? Sorry. Ooh, my phone went off.
Phone's
What
ringing.
is 4th of July? And they're like, we don't know. And that's so upsetting.
Yeah, I saw
Doesn't
that.
does that make you crazy? Because that would make me crazy.
Sure, because history is vitally important to learn and to make some contrasts and similarities to current things that are going on so that when
Yes.
you're speaking passionately about what you support now, know your history.
And a lot of times history repeats itself, which a lot of
Yes,
people, if they
always.
knew their history, they say, oh, look what's happening. Go back in history and see.
Right, it's
Even
been
weather
before.
patterns can
Right.
repeat themselves
Yes.
every 20 years. Like my grandmother used to say that. My grandmother, my little Italian
Right.
grandmother would say that.
Yeah, it's
So I
true.
mean, it's like, just know your history. It's fascinating. And like
Yeah.
I said, I didn't pay attention enough, and I'm more fascinated about it now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a learning experience.
it
It's
really
constant.
is.
And I feel like building men up does not diminish women.
No.
And building women up shouldn't diminish men. But I feel like it does. Like just because you say women are great, I don't know. I don't like the idea. That's why I wanted to do the show today about this, because I want people to understand that, listen, if you got a good man, you better appreciate that. Listen, I've been married 3 times, okay? This was the 3rd time. Not that the other 2 weren't okay, because they were, but it took me a long
just
time.
saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. But I've been very lucky in my life. Like, I have Ernie. Ernie is a great guy. Mark is a great guy. Lou is a great guy. We are so lucky.
But
And
we're different too.
we're different
So
too.
we're not 21-year-old young girls who were
Right.
told to
Right.
do A, B, C, or D. Marry well, right? That used to be the standard.
Right.
My mom didn't go to college. Did your mom go to college? So
No.
that was.
My mom was a housewife.
You get an MRS degree. What's that?
Yep.
You're a Mrs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what was
That
what
was
was
the
Bobby
value.
telling us before when we first got here? What was that called?
I sent it to
Bobby, what was that called?
Tradwife.
Tradwife.
Traditional wives.
There's a movement called Tradwife, which is
Yeah.
traditional wives. So people going back to cooking, and I have to look that up because I don't know anything about that.
No.
But I'm in, because I love cooking for a family. I love taking care of my
do.
family. I love you
I
do
know,
too.
I do
Yes.
too, but that's not because you're a woman. That's because
No.
you're a nurturer, and that's
Exactly.
because you're creative, and your pleasure comes from helping others.
Yes.
And the fact that your husband is so like scientific and wired on that side, but allows you to be your creative genius, makes for
Yes.
the balance that works.
Yes.
So it's because you've evolved as well
Right.
that you can appreciate him and
Right.
what he does for your marriage, and same for you and same for me, right? Because we're not, graduating at age 18 from an all-girls Catholic school in Brooklyn, people were happy if you became a secretary, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But,
Right.
we were learning how to type ferociously so that just in case we could get a job. As an executive assistant, nobody called you that. They called you a secretary.
Yes.
Right.
Right?
Stenography.
A
we learned
stenography, things
I
like
wasn't
that.
upset about that. I was fine
Not
with that.
upset about it,
No.
but going to college
Yes.
made us evolve to say,
Yes.
wait, I have other strengths
Right.
that
Yes.
are not
Right.
specifically
See me,
geared towards.
see me.
Right, and then your choices change.
Yeah. Yes.
Then your choices change with men,
Yes.
and your choices change with decisions for yourself.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We're going to go to Mark. We got to look at Mark's commercial. And while we're in commercial, I'm going to ask these guys about what their best piece of advice for a young woman coming up would be as far as how to treat when you're married. What's your best advice? Married, in a relationship, whatever. What do you think your best piece of advice is on how to treat your man or a man or whatever?
Okay.
So we're going to do this commercial quick, and then we're going to talk about that when we come back.
Great.
Looking to take your party from boring to unforgettable? Most DJs just play music. Mark Pretter creates unforgettable moments. Welcome to On the Mark Music, where every beat hits just right and every event becomes a night to remember. From once-in-a-lifetime weddings to milestone birthdays and corporate bashes, Mark brings the energy, the experience, and the vibe. With flawless transitions, custom playlists, and a pulse on the party. He's more than just a DJ. He's the soundtrack to your best night ever. On the Mark Music. Your event, your vibe, perfectly played.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
What? All right. So quickly, what do you think if you had to go back and give yourself
Younger self.
your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a great question. I think I would say to my younger self, don't lose who you are. Because oftentimes, and this might be cultural with Italian Americans, you become people pleasers and you try to accommodate everyone around you, your parents first and then the man that you marry. And your value comes from making everything good for them, and then you're saying, I don't know that I did enough for myself. And so my value comes from others, not from my inner gifts. So I think, don't lose yourself.
I like that.
What your talents are, what you're good at, what your beauty is enough.
Yeah,
Is enough.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's
What's
what I would
yours?
say.
Talking to my 21-year-old self, don't go for the Guido. That's the mistake I made.
could be
The
true.
Guido that put me up on this pedestal and said, he said things that would compliment you, like, you look mint today, Linda, and everything. But in a restaurant, he would tell me how to butter my bread.
Oh, yeah.
controlling.
And that, I
Yeah,
got rid
that's
of that
control.
dude because,
That's control.
Oh, that was control. But then I'm telling you, when I met Mark, because it was right after that, I saw a side of a man that I didn't know existed, because I was always around Guidos growing up. I'm very Italian. Yeah, I hung out in Howard Beach and everything.
Yeah.
And my whole family was very Italian. Not knocking Italians, I'm Italian.
Right.
But, they had a certain persona back then. They might
Right.
still now. But Mark was a breath of fresh air because we were friends first. I would say, get to know the guy before you give it up.
Be a friend first.
Or you give up your,
Yeah.
Self.
yourself to them. Be a friend first. Get to know each other. Find out what you have in common, and run with it. Like, our first thing, of course, was music. We were so in sync with music. He's a DJ, but I mean, just find that and constantly communicate. Constantly communicate. Find the humor in everything, because we love to laugh. Find the humor, and someone that reciprocates respect. You respect what he likes. Let him respect what you like to do, and find that common ground.
Right.
Like, don't settle. I think a lot of girls settle. you know, and I know I settled at the time. So that's mine. Now quickly do yours because we're going to run over.
You took all my time.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
See?
Go ahead. You have time.
Oh,
Hurry
it's
up.
going to start going up soon.
Hurry
see?
up. Just go.
Oh.
Go.
No, mine would be for trust the person. Like, get somebody that's
Right.
trustworthy.
Right.
And if they're trustworthy, trust them.
Yes.
I'm not a jealous person, so I never was like that. But that's something that I learned over time watching other girls and women is chill out. Like, don't keep trying to make your guy, the guy that you're with, prove themselves to you.
Right, I like that.
If I'm sorry you had, like, if you had a bad breakup or something before, but maybe this guy's not going to do that. So just chill out.
I like that.
Don't be jealous. Just, and try to listen. Our goal is to try to make each other's lives better, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't always do that for you, Arnie. I apologize, but it's the truth. I don't. A lot of times I'm selfish. I think about myself. We all do that. But in the long run, that's what it's all about. Because don't forget, you're going to be 80 years old together. And you better
God
like that
willing.
person. You better make sure you like that person, or
Right.
that's not your end of your life is not going to be great.
That's good. Yeah.
So, anyways, it was a great show. I
Yes.
really enjoyed
I
it.
wish
I
we
think
had
we're
more
going to have to do a
time.
show about presidents.
Sure.
Because
Love that.
that's going to be very fun. And Joan's going to have some exciting news in the next couple of weeks, we hope. So, no, she's not pregnant.
No.
Lou, don't freak out.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
God, could you imagine?
No.
I can't imagine. All right. We're going to get kicked off. So,
All right.
have a great time.
fabulous
We love it.
week.
Have a
Thank
fabulous
you for being
week.
on, Joan.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
stories. I
Thank
love
you.
Next
it.
week's going to be great too, but happy Men Day.
Yes.
Or
love
week
you guys.
or year
Mwah.
or
Have a
life.
good week.
Whatever. Have a great week.